Thank you for viewing this recording of a free event provided by Next Village San Francisco for our community. Next Village San Francisco is a local nonprofit providing services and support that empowers seniors to live independently in their own homes. We welcome people who want to keep connected with their community as members, volunteers, and supporters. We host 30 to 40 free activities and events each month for the public, and our members have access to our network of volunteers. Learn more and get involved at nextvillagesf.org. We hope you enjoy this video.
Be covering today is accessibility features for PC computers. So I'm working on a computer that is a Lenovo ThinkPad and is running Windows as the operating system. And so there will be a presentation for accessibility features for Apples and Macs, and that has a different operating system and some different navigation and different features. And there will also be technology teach-ins on PCs and Macs for other types of things outside of accessibility features. So this is just kind of one module in a series, so you can navigate your computers a little better. Any questions before I dive in?
No.
Well, whether or not you've been using computers for a little bit of time or your entire life, we all know they're really useful and helpful and have a lot of information and functionality and utility. But when actually using the computer is difficult, it's a huge bottleneck in really reaping the benefits of a computer and being able to go about your life and having it actually be a benefit and a convenience as opposed to a chore or something that just gets you frustrated. And I understand that. There are many things in life where we want to use it. We understand that it's great, but the interaction with it is so bad. The user interface is so bad where we just put the thing down and we don't use it. We all have examples of that in life. So today I want to go over a few types of features that you can use on your computer to hopefully kind of tear down those barriers and those hurdles so you can use what you need to use and go about your daily life. There are a few types of accessibility features, at least on a PC. The first type is in creating shortcuts for your favorite websites on your desktop. And so that's so you can just double click and be on your way. The second is about how you see things on your computer on the screen. The third is how you hear things. If it's too loud, too soft, if there's something that can be read to you, anything like that. And the last category that we'll go over today is how you interact with your computer, how you touch things, how you click on things, how you access things. So those are the various types. Within websites I mentioned previously, we'll primarily be going over how to create a shortcut on your desktop. And what that is it's a website that's stored in a little desktop icon. That way, when you double click on the icon, instead of it loading up a photograph or loading up a folder or loading up a program, it just loads up a website on your website browser. So we'll go over that shortly. The next category I mentioned is vision, and there are a lot of examples. We can adjust text size. We can filter colors in case we have some sort of vision condition where certain colors or hues show, or we need certain contrasts. We can also set things up to read back websites to us in case there is a vision problem there, and a few others that we'll go through. The next section that we'll go through is hearing, and that primarily is centered around audio and captions. And the last, as I mentioned, is interaction. And here's a few examples that we'll go through as well. So unless there are any questions or we need to pause before we continue, I'll just start walking through some of these features. So first off, websites. So there's just a couple slides here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk you through how to create a website shortcut on your desktop. And of course, what a shortcut means is it's a quick pathway to do a bigger job, but just in a couple clicks. So it's like taking a shortcut on a route or on a map. So I'll go through these couple slides showing you what the steps are, and then I will share my screen and actually create one for us.
Hmm.
So the first thing to do, what you see in the photograph here is a blue background, and that represents my desktop background. You're just on your desktop, you don't have any windows loaded, and you see a blue background. It can be whatever photograph is on your desktop. And you right-click, your mouse may have 1 button, 2 buttons, or 3 buttons. You right-click and you see the menu on the left. You see it says view, sort by, refresh, etc. And you want to click on new. And then you want to move your cursor over to the right side, and all of these options, these 8 options, drop down: folder, shortcut, bitmap, image, etc. And then you see shortcut, and you click on number 2. Next, the modal pops up on your left for you to create a shortcut, and it asks you to type in the website. And so I've typed in www.nextvillagesf.org. On the top right, you'll see what the shortcut looks like as an intermediate before it's finished. It just says new shortcut. It's just a blank piece of paper. Then once you put in the website and you click next, then it is a finished product, and you can name that. Please do not have concern if this particular icon doesn't show up on your desktop. This is a Chrome specific icon. It's the blue circle with the yellow and the red and the green around it. If you use a different internet browser, then your icon or logo will just look different than mine. And so there are a few browsers on the right side of this slide: Firefox, Internet Explorer, Safari, and others. So your shortcut will it may look different, but it still has the same function. And so what I'm going to do now is share my screen, and I'm going to go ahead and create one myself. You see that blank desktop here. You see a couple folders over here. And so I'm just going to hover anywhere on the background, and I'm going to right click. So it's the right button on the mouse, and the same thing popped up as before. And I'm going to hover over new, and I haven't clicked anything yet. This other menu just kind of dropped down automatically. And now I'm going to hover over shortcut, and I'm going to click on that one. Now this should look familiar. So I'm going to put in www.nextvillagesf.org. Next. And now I can name it. So I've named it before. I will just name it something new, so you know that it's been created now. So this will be called Tech Teach-In. And there you go, it's right there. And so now, once I turn on my computer and it's a new day and I want to see what events are going on around Next Village, I can just come to my desktop and I can double click on this icon here, and it's loaded up Next Village. And we see Halloween in the Village is coming up soon. Any questions on the first section there for websites?
It looks like we have a question. So Jean wants to know if you create a shortcut when in one browser, you can still pull up the shortcut using any browser, or will it only go to the browser that you saved it on?
That's a great question. Let's find out. So when I double clicked on it with the left click, it opened up automatically in Chrome, because that's how I have it set up here. So your question is, if I have it saved with a Chrome logo, can I load it up in, say, Internet Explorer? So now I've right-clicked to get more information. Open, share, compress, copy as path, and show more options. So my first guess here would be to click on copy as path. And so I think what will happen there is it will copy the URL, the website, that www.nextvillagesf.org that I typed in. That is my guess, copy as path. So you can click on that and then open up a different browser and then see if it works there. So let's see here. Here's Microsoft Edge. That's still another browser. Let's click on that one. And I will go ahead and bring that down to the window that's being shared. And I'm going to paste. So it actually has a file path there. So that's not a website path. So what I will do, was that Myra that asked the question, or Sylvia?
Jean.
Jean, I'm sorry, third try's the charm. Jean, thank you for that question. I will look into it a little bit after this presentation and get you a short answer there. So I wasn't able to find it out on my first pass here, but in the interest of time, it sounds like probably yes. To just load it up, copy the path, the URL itself, the website, and load it into something else. But let me find a workaround for you, and then I can reach out and provide a good answer for you there.
Okay.
Thank you for that question. That was a good question.
Yeah, good. I was like, I didn't even think about that.
Okay, I'm going back to the presentation now. Okay. So we've created a desktop shortcut. The next three categories of accessibility features, which I went over previously, are vision, hearing, and interaction. And all of those features can be accessed through the same path in Windows. And I'm going to go through it now before I go through all of the different features themselves. So the way to get to this accessibilities menu, and it's a nice convenient menu with everything located in one place, is to follow the following 3 steps on these slides. The first is to hit the Windows key, and that is on your keyboard. So if we can all take a moment to look down at our keyboard, and we see the Windows key, it looks like a window pane, and there's 4 squares there. It might be a perfect square. It might be a square with some curved edges, depending on what computer you have. But for the most part, it's always at the bottom left of your keyboard, where it's circled in red on the slide. And it usually is next to or between the Control and the Alt buttons there. So we press that, and we get another modal that pops up, another window that pops up, and there's a search bar in there, and that's over to the right of this slide, step 2. There's a search bar, and there are some pinned applications. This is all just the default setting that Windows has, so Word and Excel and all of those things. Yours might look different if you've customized yours. And so you can do 2 things from this step. You can either click on Settings, or you can search Accessibility, whichever you'd prefer. And so on the next slide, I have what happens when you just click on Settings. And now you see a new window that pops up, and you will have to follow the left menu down to Accessibility. And you'll see that after Gaming and before Privacy and Security, and you'll click on that. So you can't see on my screen, but I'm doing this along with us as we go. And after you click on Accessibility, all of the categories that we went over show up here. First is Vision, and then you can scroll down and you can see Hearing, and you can scroll down a little bit further and you can see Interaction. If there's anyone that's on the call now that is trying to follow along and is having difficulties, please let me know. Okay. And so it sounds like most folks were able to get to step 3 just to kind of see the menu there. And so now we're going into each of the features. And if it's helpful, I can, again, do these live on my computer to show you what they look like. But the first vision-based accessibility feature that we can play with is simply the text size. And so I'm going to share my other screen. And I'm going to load up the Next Village website, and I'm going to play with some of these, and we can see what happens. Okay, so you should see my screen, and you should see the accessibility menu as we have navigated there from those steps. And the first we see at the top is just text size. And what I might do is kind of just run through some of these and use the Next Village website as the example as appropriate. And if there are any questions, we can talk through them and kind of go from there. So the first one, let's see, I will do this and I will do this. So on the right is the Next Village website, and on the left are the accessibility settings. So text size, this one has increased the text size of the left panel but not this website. And so let's see if we can just go to my computer to see if it has increased the text of other. Oh, I need to hit apply. That's why. Let's try that again with the website. Let's see if it works with the website. Apply.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so what looks like happened is the pictures and images, of course, didn't increase in size of text because those are just images that coincidentally are an image of a letter. But some of these other things did increase in text size, like the URL up here in the website, and other things like that. And so this will, and I can do it even more. And it's even bigger.
Mm-hmm.
And if you have a Word document up or a presentation up or anything like that up, it will increase the size of that text as well. So now I will go ahead and put it back and apply. And it should be back to normal. And then I will go to the next one after I get these to snap back into half and half, not. Okay, that's okay. I'm not going to mess with that right now. Okay. The next one, any questions on text size before I move on?
Will it remain at that text size after you have applied it?
Yes, it will. So
Or
if I
only
change
on-
this and I click apply, it
Uh-huh.
will change and it will not go back until I come into this menu again and move it and then click apply again.
Okay, will that be on all websites or just that website?
On all websites, yes.
Okay.
So this is just an example that I'm using.
Mhm.
And it should work on all things that have text on your computer. So Word documents, anything else like that.
I think it's a good note. It's kind of nice that we have the website as the example because yes, in the images at the top, because it's an image, it won't increase sizes, but everything that's registering as text will increase size. So letters in a picture won't change, but the text itself outside of that will. That was a nice comparison there. That's kind of
Yeah, we got lucky that there was an image there.
Mhm.
Okay, visual effects. I like this one because whenever there are a lot of windows open and you want to scroll up or down, sometimes you lose track of where you can scroll. So turning this on shows the scroll bars here on the side all the time. There are some websites where there's a lot of embedded frames and things, and the scroll bars kind of disappear for convenience. And so it's nice to have them all the time. The transparency effects can make some windows transparent or slightly see-through if you have a lot of things stacked up on each other. So if you have a lot of windows open and they're kind of stacked like this and you're fiddling between a lot of different programs and photos or websites or things like that, it can help you kind of see behind things a bit. And animation effects. I am not super sure what animation effects do. I had it on mine and I haven't seen too many animations. So you should feel free to turn it off and see if anything changes, but I haven't noticed too much there. On to the third for vision, mouse pointer and touch. This one's really useful. This is helpful to be able to spot your mouse cursor whenever you're moving around different web pages. I know sometimes if I'm reading something or if I have a map on one page or a photo somewhere else, I have to move my mouse around a lot to find it again.
Mm-hmm.
And so by clicking these, you can change the style so that it's more noticeable. You have a neon green that you can see over lots of different colors. You have this high contrast cursor, and then you have different shapes. And of course, you can change the size of the cursor.
Oh, goodness. Huh.
This is kind of funny now. It's kind of like a carnival cartoon. And so those first two are really, really useful in just being able to see the cursor. The next is useful as well. It's a touch indicator. And so sometimes when you're using a touch screen, or if you have just a mouse and a cursor, it will put a circle around the mouse cursor. That way you know exactly where you will be clicking. It almost has a little circle around it, so you know that if the mouse cursor isn't exactly on where you need to be, you have a margin for error, where if you click and it's in the circle, then you're still okay. Any questions on mouse pointer and touch? I think this is a really useful one for visibility.
Can you click on the box to make the circle darker and larger? Because or how would you like trigger the little circle at the tip of the pointer to come up?
Yeah, so this applies when the touch screen is being used.
Oh, I see. Okay.
And so I have actually disabled the touchscreen on my laptop, but I can re-enable it really quickly. And then what will happen is when I touch the screen, a little circle will appear around my finger when I touch it. Next is the text cursor. And so this is a useful feature whenever you are in a Word document or you are on a web page where there's a lot of text. And you want this cursor to show up where you are about to click on some text. Maybe you want to highlight it, or maybe you want to just start typing there. And so these colors and sizes help you see it better. So let's think of a good example if there's some text here. Okay, perfect. This is a perfect example here. So here's text on the Next Village website. And I don't know if you can make it out, but my cursor has changed from that arrow to the text highlighter. But it's kind of hard to see. I'm having trouble seeing it myself, and I'm sitting a foot away from my screen here. And so we can turn the indicator on. No change yet. Choose a color. Choose this pink and a big size. No change yet. Let's see if we can get this to work. To make your text cursor stand out in a sea of text.
Would it only work in a setting where you're typing? Or
Maybe.
no, that doesn't quite make sense.
Let's try.
Hmm.
Okay, I have a Word document here. And yes, I think you are right, Camille, because that is beautiful. Look at that. Hard to miss.
Huge.
Oh, fantastic. So let's say we had a lot of text here. Just imagine this was a lot of reading you had to do and you couldn't see. And so this is really helpful to be able to kind of spot what line you're on. And I changed it to green, and it automatically changed the color, and I'm changing the size here, and it changed the size. And then I can turn it off here, and it looks like it's off. Great. And you can change the thickness of the area that's sort of highlighted. You see how there's a little area that's highlighted there, and you can change the thickness of that as well. So a super useful one if you are editing a lot of documents, reading a lot, and kind of are losing track of where your cursor is. Any questions on the text cursor? Okay.
Everyone's all good on text cursor, size and colors and where we can use them? Awesome. Okay.
This next feature is the magnifier. And so we did go through text size, but now in addition to just the text increasing in size, everything is magnified. So we can turn this on. Oop, already it bumped to 125. Let's put it back to 100. Okay. And this little window loaded up, a little control panel here. So I'm just going to put that right there. And on the left still, you can either adjust the magnifier on the left here, and you can also adjust the increments. So each time you hit plus or minus, it will go up by an increment of 25% or 10% or 50%. And you can also control it from here. And so now I can just magnify the entire screen. And that's really useful. Any questions on the magnifier? Color filters. This is really helpful if you prefer certain colors, or if it's helpful for certain kind of vision conditions where contrast is useful, or there are certain colors that are just harder to kind of resolve relative to others. And so you can turn it on here. And this is already turned to grayscale automatically. This is a red-green, where you are green weak in your ability to sense. And that is what the term is called. Red, green, blue, yellow, grayscale inverted. This looks kind of funny. Looks like the negatives are a slide in a photograph. And regular inverted, so color. And now we're back to normal. So those are useful if there are any vision issues with various colors. Contrast. This is really helpful for others with vision issues as well, in just being able to see things. And you just choose a theme that you want. So you can choose aquatic, desert, dusk, or night sky. And it just changes the theme. So now everything changes. Not only does the website, but the browser itself, windows, menus, things like that. So now you have different themes so you can be able to see specific parts of it better. So contrast really refers to making different things different enough so you can see one really well. I'm going to change it back. Okay.
Mhm.
Last one for accessibility, for vision rather, and this is the longest section, thanks for your patience, is the narrator. So the narrator is great. It does just what it says it does, which is reads anything to you like websites. So you can turn this on.
Setting narrator dialog. Skip for now. Button. Alt plus F. Settings window. Scan mode. Exiting
Let me
narrator.
get out of that. So it is already reading everything. Not only is it reading the text on those, but it is reading the different statuses and settings of those windows. And for some people, that's too much narration. So what you can do is you can
Start settings window. Narrator home group. Show all settings. Button. Expanded. Show all settings. Button. Collapsed.
So right now it's reading everything that my mouse cursor is over. And I want to turn that off.
Narrator. Toggle switch. Narrator dialog.
Skip for
Settings window. Scan mode. 3 of 13.
Exit
Exiting
narrator.
narrator.
Okay. One of the things that we can change on the narrator is how much it narrates. And so the verbosity level is the setting here that you'd be interested in. And there are 5 options there. Option number 1 reads the least amount, and option number 5 reads the most amount. So option number 1 reads only the text that you're trying to read. Whatever the web page is, you go in and you want to read a news story, it will only read the news story. Contrast that with setting number 5, which is all text details. It will read you, it will tell you that it is a banner image. It will tell you that it is part of a web page. It will tell you a lot of information. Let me show you an example.
Starting narrator. Scan. Next village SF. At home. Right where. Scan mode. Exiting narrator.
Let me try that one more time.
Starting settings window. Narrator dialog. Skip for now. Button. Alt plus scan mode. 3 of 13. Window heading level 1. Welcome to narrator. This is narrator home, where you can get help, access your settings, and learn about new features. Narrator is a screen reader that describes aloud what's on your screen, so you can use that information to navigate your device. To start or exiting narrator.
So what I'd like to do, which I was able to do previously, is have it read this website for me on demand.
Starting narrator. Narrator dialogue. Next Village SF. At home, right where you are. Google Chrome pane. Next Village SF. At home, right
Okay,
where you are. Narrator dialogue.
I think that's enough
Skip
of an
for now.
example.
Narrator window.
I know there was a
Scan.
lot of random things
Exiting
being
narrator.
read to you. What I want you to take away from this was that the narrator was not only reading the
Starting
text.
settings window.
One second.
Narrator dialogue. Skip for now. Button.
That's
Alt+.
that's such a
Exiting
handy
narrator.
tool.
It can be hectic. It reads a lot. But when
Yeah,
I chose,
everything.
yeah, when I chose option 5, in terms of the verbosity, all text details,
Mhm.
it was telling you that you were on a web page. It was telling you that it was the heading. It was giving you all sorts of information about the objects themselves on the web page. So fiddle around with what level of information you want. If you are fully blind, it may be helpful to understand, hey, this is the banner ad. Hey, this is the home page. Versus if you don't have any vision impairment and you just want help with the reading and you only want the text read to you and you only want the news article read, not the heading New York Times and here's an image, but you only want the story, then you might choose option 1, text only. So I would encourage anyone to play around with what level of verbosity works for their needs.
You tell the narrator to read slow.
Oh, so if you can adjust the pace of
The reading.
the reading.
That is a great question.
Hmm.
Well, a little bit
Yeah.
monotonous.
So one
Yeah.
thing you can do is you can choose different voices. So the narrator's voice here, David, Zira, Mark, etc. You can also add natural voices. And so I haven't played around with this myself, but I can do a little research. And if we have follow-up questions, I can provide some more information there. But adding voice modules that maybe are a little calmer or tranquil, or maybe you want something that's super exciting.
When low vision, I have a glaucoma, so maybe 5 or 10 years I might be low vision.
Yeah. That's a great question, though, about narration speed. I don't see that here, but that's such a useful question that I would be surprised that someone else hasn't thought of it. And so I can make a note to do a little research and get back to you on narration speed. That's a great question.
Yeah, I know I feel like they must have that somewhere because it
Yeah.
is part of the accessibility section, but
I'd
yeah,
want it read slow
I know
myself.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Any questions on vision as an accessibility feature? Moving on down to hearing. So what is mono audio? Mono audio means that all of your speakers, if there's 1, 2, 3, 4 speakers or more, all of those speakers are outputting the exact same audio. Meaning that if you were to put your ear up to the left speaker and then put your ear up to the right speaker, you would hear the exact same thing. Many times, audio is put out in what's called stereo, which means that the left and right side are actually different. And it helps you create more of an immersive feel because whenever you're in a concert hall or speaking with someone, the right side of the room is different from the left side of the room. That's just how it is naturally. And if this is an issue and if it causes any confusion, you can click mono audio. And so both speakers will be outputting the exact same thing. And it's a bit simpler. And this is just whether or not you want notifications. So that's up to your preference.
So mono audio could be nice if you
Second
have
feature for audio, for hearing rather, is captions.
Oh,
And they're showing an example of it here, where if there is a video and if someone is talking in that video, that they will caption it. And so we can go ahead and click that on. And you can change the caption style similar to your television. I use closed captions on my television. And so you could have white on black, small caps. You can change what it looks like, what the display of the caption is. So yellow on blue, things like that. And you can see that it's now changed down here. Waves are caused by a flow of energy. That now has a blue background there. So I won't load up a video just for time for today. but this will apply to any videos that you have. Anytime there is spoken word, it will caption it for you, and that's super useful.
Mhm.
Any questions on hearing before I move on to the last section of the day? Awesome. Interaction. And so this is how you either give commands to the computer, or you interact with the computer, or anything like that. And so the first would be speech. And so clicking this voice access button means that you can now dictate text. And so that's super helpful. So not only can we have text read to us, but now instead of having to type out all of the words, we can speak to the computer. It will hear us. It will have a little program inside which understands what we're saying, and it'll type it out for us. Like dictation kind of software and services that have been around for ages. And so now you can have access to that here. The next one for interaction, and these next few are a little complicated, so we'll go slow and feel free to ask questions. The next one is about changing settings on your computer. The only one here that I think is all that useful, you know, Camille, actually looking at these, I don't know how useful these actually are. Sticky keys, filter keys. I think filter keys could be useful if ever there is a situation where you keep accidentally hitting a certain key and you don't mean to. You can set the sensitivity of that key, meaning that if you just tap it very briefly or very softly, your computer will not register it. It may know that it's an accident. And so you have to type it hard or for a longer duration of time for it to say, yes, you know, the user meant to hit the space key or the user meant to hit the escape key. This is sometimes useful for folks who want to slow down the mouse cursor or speed the mouse cursor up. And so what can happen is you can actually change. So I am moving my hand around. I have the mouse here. So I'm not using a trackpad on my laptop. I'm using just a mouse. And I'm moving the mouse around at a certain rate. And that is showing up on my screen at a certain rate and pace. And so you can actually change that. So I can change this to increase. And now with the same inputs, with my hand doing the same things on my mouse pad here, it's going to move a lot further. And so you can change that. And there will be times where it feels too fast and times where it feels too slow. And then you might find that middle, that medium range where it feels just right. And I think this one is very much a sort of a subjective feel sort of thing.
And then one thought that I had on, this is kind of a little bit back in the presentation, but when talking about the audio on either side, if you select the mono so that both sides sound the same, the mono audio, that could be really helpful if maybe one ear has better hearing than the other, or one ear is low audio and the other is more like receptive. So that's really nice, because also a lot of it's like a very big thing right now where Spotify is releasing a lot of remastered older albums. So I know that pretty much all of the Beatles albums have been re-released. And if you listen to it, each ear sounds different. So it's more immersive, and they do that on purpose. But that could also be tricky if I realized when I had one of my headphones die and the other one didn't, and I was like, oh, I'm only getting half the song. So for situations like that, I think mono audio could be really helpful for people. But that was all I got. No, that was my
Great
only
point.
comment. But no, great pace. I feel like you're checking a lot. This feels very, very useful presentation.
Awesome. Perfect. Yeah, that's a great point. And I'm glad that my audio shut off, because it is fitting for this accessibility features talk. So I feel like it was a fun curveball for us to kind of stay on our toes here.
Definitely.
I'm a little bit slow in understanding. When you say mono, is that mean the sound coming from the computer have left side of the song and right side of the song of the symphony. Symphony room is supposed to have all the sound coming out, right? Left or right.
So mono audio means that both earbuds and like the speakers will make the same sound because now some videos and music is designed so that each speaker has a different part of the sound, and that way it feels more immersive. So if you were only to listen to one, you would only be getting a part of the song. But if you have mono audio switched on, then if you only have one speaker on or one earbud in, you'd be getting the full audio.
No, I'm not wearing any earbud or headphone. Now I understand that the laptop has sound coming out from the left or something coming out from the right. And if I put it mono, then it will only come out from one side of the computer.
No.
So it would come out from both sides of the computer, but it would just be the exact same sound coming out of both of the speakers in your computer versus slightly different sound coming out of each side.
Oh, no, I understand now.
Okay.
It's
Okay.
clearer then.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Okay. And I do just want to check in. We're kind of nearing the end of our hour. Do people have a hard cutoff at any time? Is it okay if we go a little bit over? How are people feeling?
Oh, I don't, because I don't have basic knowledge of it. So the sound travel even come from from laptop, the left side and right side, that travel time. There is a split-second delay or whatever, microsecond delay. Jesus Lord, I don't know that. Okay.
A little bit different. So sorry, I do just want to check in. Are people okay to stay a little bit after so we
Okay.
can get the presentation? Okay, perfect. We'll push on.
Awesome. And there's just a couple more features here, so we're almost done, and I really appreciate everyone staying on longer and learning this stuff with me. The last there was just a couple more, so I'll go ahead and share my screen and finish up here, and then I can open it up for any remaining questions. So we were during the time period I couldn't hear you, we were going over the mouse. And the different speed of the cursor. And there's also acceleration of the cursor that you can change as well to pick up quickly or to stop quickly. And so this is the type of thing where there isn't necessarily a setting that's better than another setting. It really is playing around with the settings and seeing just what feels best to you. At least that's how I interpret it. And the last accessibility feature that we have for today is eye control. And this is a feature that you actually have to purchase another piece of hardware for. And so I don't know how to toggle it and show you now, but I do know what eye control does. And before I explain it, I want to put in a little auction Next Village auction joke is that we can put up for auction one of these eye control devices. That way we can use all of our accessibility features. That's my joke for today. So eye tracking would require another piece of hardware that you can buy. And if it's something that's useful to you, please reach out to me and I can do some more research and explain how to get you set up. But you would set up something to put on your computer, and it would have retina tracking where it would know where your retina are on your eyes, and it would know if you're looking down to the right or down to the left or straight forward or up. And it would be able to navigate a website through that by knowing where you're looking, and where you're looking now starts to serve as a replacement for where your mouse cursor is. And so it's just another way to interact with the computer, be it through ease of access or convenience or through whatever other need. And so eye tracking, again, is just a way to kind of navigate your computer with your eyes. And so I'm going to stop sharing the screen for the live walkthroughs now and finish up with the presentation. And if there are any follow-up questions that you have, I can go through those. We went through the mouse, but just to close out, by just making a couple changes depending on your lifestyle or what your needs are, or where you just want things to be more convenient, your computer can really empower you to be able to do what you need to do.
Thank you for viewing this Next Village video recording. We hope you enjoyed it. Please help us spread the word and tell friends and neighbors about Next Village events and services for seniors and adults with disabilities in San Francisco. Visit our website to learn more about our vibrant, growing network, as well as to view our calendar of upcoming Zoom and in-person events and activities in San Francisco. Our website is nextvillagesf.org. Contact us to join our email list to learn about events and resources for seniors in San Francisco. And subscribe to the Next Village YouTube channel by clicking the button below.